What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here, and today we're going to talk about a little topic here revolving The Last of Us 2. Now, we saw that big showing at E3 2018. It was a great showing and everything. We saw Ellie in action, but a big question that a lot of us have, including myself, is where does Joel fit into all of this? Where is Joel right now, right? So we had the initial announcement of Last of Us 2 with that trailer, and of course Joel was there, but was he really even there though? Because there is a lot of evidence to suggest that that is not really Joel that we're seeing, at least physically. In The Last of Us Part 1, Joel is definitely an older gentleman. He's already aged a lot, you know what I'm saying? He's around, I want to say maybe late 40s, early 50s, something like that. I know it's been said how old he is, but I think it's somewhere around that, you know, time frame, right? But when you look at Joel in the reveal trailer for The Last of Us Part 2 and everything, his hair doesn't even look that much grayer than it was in the first game, and, you know, his face looks a little bit, you know, just not as weathered as you would think he would look, with The Last of Us 2 being 5 years in front of The Last of Us Part 1, or 4 years depending on the timeline. So let's say likely that we are looking at the reveal trailer, right, of The Last of Us Part 2. Let's say we're looking at the 4-year timeline, because during the 4-year timeline, that's where the church scene is taking place, and during that church scene trailer, the E3 showing and everything, we heard Ellie talk to Jesse, who was that Asian gentleman, and he brought up Ellie's old man, which has to be Joel, right? So at least in the 4-year timeline, Joel is definitely alive here at this point. So if we are led to believe that during the reveal trailer of Last of Us Part 2, where we see Joel in physical flesh and everything, that would probably lean towards the 4-year timeline. However, if he is dead, right, if he somehow dies between the 4-year and 5-year timelines, then I think Ellie's words during the reveal trailer where she said that she's going to find them all and kill them all is probably going to be in vengeance or for revenge against them killing Joel. And them being either the Fireflies or the Sephiroths, who knows which, you know, who exactly killed Joel, or even how Joel even died. But if Joel is led to be dead, I think that makes a lot of sense. That would explain why his hair isn't as gray as you would imagine it being after 4 years after The Last of Us Part 1. It would explain why his face is a little bit more smooth and just not, you know, as, you know, increasingly wrinkled as it was in the first game. And it will understand why, you know, Ellie has this vengeance and has this like demonic type of look to her, where she's shaking her hand in the beginning of the trailer to kind of calm her down and everything, because maybe moments before, that is exactly when and where Joel ends up dying and ends up getting killed. Maybe it's moments before that exact moment when she's playing the guitar and everything, and she says in her head, I'm gonna find them all and I'm gonna kill them all. You know, maybe what I think, what a lot of people also thinking as well, is that Joel in that first trailer is just a figment of Ellie's imagination. It's just what she's thinking of what Joel would have said to her in that moment if he was still living. Or maybe Joel's actually alive and everything, and there is some evidence to suggest that, you know, Joel is alive in some parts of Last of Us 2. And look, just to preface here, look, I think that Joel is in Last of Us 2. I think we'll see him, right? Whether he'll be living or dead, I think at some point we will see Joel in Last of Us 2. And there's more, you know, of me that thinks that Joel will be alive in The Last of Us 2 in some timeline, whether it's the 4-year timeline or the 5-year timeline that we talked about throughout the channel, throughout E3 and everything, about how we have 2 different timelines here. That's the 4-year and the 5-year timeline, right? So I think that he's alive in the 4-year timeline, and then the reveal trailer is during the 5-year timeline, and it's showing, you know, her being more aggressive and everything, and obviously where we see the gameplay of her murking those Sephiroths or Fireflies. I think there were Sephiroths in the E3 trailer, but where we see that happening, I think that is post Joel's death. But there was a conversation on Twitter between Cory Barlog and Neil Druckmann. Of course, Cory Barlog is the creative director of God of War, and Neil Druckmann is the vice president of Naughty Dog, and they both heavily work on their own IPs, God of War and Last of Us respectively, right? And so they were talking here on Twitter, and there's a little bit here that I think is very telling, and Neil Druckmann is a bit of a troll, if you will. Not a troll, he just likes to, you know, play with their emotions and everything. But Cory Barlog says, God of War Part 2, what do you think, at Neil Druckmann? Neil Druckmann says, sure, as long as Ellie can recall her machete with her infected powers. Obviously that is a joke that is referring to Kratos being able to summon his axe back to him in God of War and everything. And so then another user says, this confirms Joel is dead. And then Barlog replies, says, Joel just finished putting together a puzzle. He he is totally still alive, but he did destroy it immediately after finishing it. And then Neil Druckmann replies and says, that reminds me, when you market God of War Part 2, do not show Kratos. It'll drive people crazy. So right there, like, he's already speaking directly to us, saying that, yeah, we are, you know, driving a little bit crazy right now with the rumors and everything and different theories and everything going on about where is Joel, because we have not seen Joel in a substantial manner. Of course, you can argue the reveal trailer is seeing Joel, but we never saw Joel's face, and his hair didn't look that great and everything, and there's a lot of different things that we can think about here. Even like his clothes looked a little off. I'm not even sure, but it is clear here that definitely Joel's in the game, and Neil Druckmann is hiding the fact that Joel is alive and well in this game, or some element of Joel in this game. He's definitely hiding Joel. But then we have some other evidence here that I think is definitely points to, okay, Joel is going to be in this game. We're going to be able to play Joel, even though the contrary is being said, and I'll elaborate in a little bit here. But let's read the whole direct quote. So this comes from a Restart article, and someone was at the actual behind closed door sessions for Last of Us Part 2 and everything. And so the co-lead game designer Richard Cambier, I think I butchered that name, my apologies, but he pitched that we aren't saying anything about that yet, about other playable characters other than Ellie. He was asked that question, and he said, quote, we aren't saying anything about that yet. But then our boy Neil Druckmann came in and said, quote, Ellie is the only playable character in the game. Now look, okay, obviously, you know, he was very straight up. That was an honest answer. It looks like there's no, you know, misconception there, but indeed there is. Leading up to Last of Us Part 1 release, a lot of people were asking him if he would ever get the chance to play Ellie in the game, and he said no. You know, Joel is the only playable character in Last of Us Part 1. However, obviously, if you play Last of Us, you know that's not true. You get to play Ellie during a section of the game, and so now we're thinking here, okay, maybe he could be lying here as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe he could be throwing us a bone here again, saying a similar type of quote that he did for Last of Us Part 1. That's what a lot of people are thinking, as well as myself. So here's my prediction. Here's what I'm going to say here about Joel in The Last of Us Part 2, okay? I think the reveal trailer is in the 5-year timeline. So that's taking place during the gameplay segment of Last of Us Part 2 that we saw during E3 2018's press conference showing and everything, where they showed off Last of Us 2, okay? And then the 4-year time period is the only place that we've gotten where that's from that timeline, you know, during the church scene and everything. And there they mentioned that, you know, Joel was still alive during the quote from Jesse, that where he mentioned, you know, Ellie's old man. So I think what they're trying to tell us here is that during the 4-year timeline, we see Joel still alive, right, on the ranch. However, moving on from that 4-year timeline, going into the 5-year period, we will see that Joel will die in some fashion, and we'll figure that out during Last of Us Part 2. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. This is just totally my thoughts, just a quick video. I just had to, you know, just put this out there into the universe because I've been thinking about this a lot, about where is Joel, why haven't we seen him and everything. So I just figured I just put my 2 cents in the bucket. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you guys think Joel's actually dead? Do you think he's alive? Do you think we'll see him for the majority of the game? Do you think he'll be in for a section of the game? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And make sure also while you are down there to check out our description where you can find our Instagram and Twitter to follow us on there. And make sure to also subscribe here to PlayStation Source to keep up with the latest and greatest on PlayStation. Thank you all for watching, and as always, catch you in the next one.